Bright Tuty. Every student matters.
We have understood about images. Coming back to what we were initially talking about was कि when we just put a particular object in front of a plane mirror, what kind of image will be formed? Fine. Plane mirror, as we have seen, this was a surface, plane surface. It was painted, silver painting at the back. I have kept this particular object over here. Now, I told you that whenever light ray goes to a particular plane surface, in that case, it is going to strike this surface and it is going to bounce back in a particular direction. Fine. So, let us understand what exactly is the rule regarding that. Just for your convenience, I am just taking the surface now like this. Correct? It is a horizontal surface. A light ray is coming. I put an arrow to show the direction. This light ray which is coming and falling on this surface, this we call as incident ray. We all are aware, we have studied it in 8th class. Now it's time just to go into a bit of detail part. Basic things we are going to brush up. So this is an incident ray which is striking this plane surface. The point at which this ray strikes the surface is known as point of incidence. Right? Now, after striking this surface, this ray of light is going to bounce back. Once again, the arrows are very important. You need to take care to show the arrows for the direction of the ray. Now, this ray of light which strikes the surface and bounce back, we call it a reflected ray. Got it? At this point of incidence, if I just draw a perpendicular, this perpendicular at the point of incidence is known as normal, not the normal ray, it is normal. Normal means perpendicular, right? So, incident ray, point of incidence, normal and reflected ray we have seen, okay. Now, the angle which is formed between the incident ray and the normal ray, we name it as the angle of incidence. Clear? So, angle I, what we call it is, we call it angle of incidence. And how we are going to define this angle of incidence? It is the angle between the incident ray and the normal, right? And the angle between the reflected ray and the normal is termed as angle of reflection and represented as angle r, small I and small r. So, this is angle of reflection. What is angle of reflection? The angle between the reflected ray and the normal. Clear? So, this is the basic thing that we need to know. Now, there are two laws of reflection. What are these laws of reflection? First law says that the incident ray, the normal and the reflected ray, these are the three we are talking about, the incident ray, the normal and the reflected ray at the point of incidence. If we are considering the point of incidence, then at the point of incidence all lie in a same plane. They are on the same side, same plane, right? This is the first law of reflection. And second law of reflection states that angle of incidence is always equal to angle of reflection. Means this particular angle, angle of incidence, and this particular angle, angle of reflection, they will always be same. Got it? So, these are two laws of reflection. Now, my dear students, you will be asked one or two things based on this particular law. What? The question that we will be facing is, number one, will be asked ki what will be the angle of reflection for a ray of light falling normally on a plane mirror. or any surface. Now this was a plane surface. Now what we are being told in the question is, there is a ray of light coming with the direction arrow we have shown. This ray of light is falling normally. Normally means perpendicularly on this particular surface. So what will be the angle of reflection? We know that the angle of reflection, what is angle of reflection? Angle of reflection is the angle between the incident ray, the normal and the reflected ray. Fine. So first of all, this is the incident ray coming. This is the point of incidence. At this point we will draw a normal. So I call it the incident ray, and coincidentally this is same as that of normal. Why? Because this is also perpendicular. Fine. So if a ray of light is falling normally or perpendicularly, then in that case angle of incidence is 0. Why? Because this is the same line, this is the same incident ray as well as normal. So the angle between them is 0. And as per the law of reflection, the angle of refraction is equal to the angle of incidence. It will also be 0. What does it mean? If a ray of light is coming perpendicular, then after striking the surface, it will bounce back along the same path. Fine. So it will bounce back along the same path. We are just going to reverse the arrow to show its direction. Got it? Yet another question that we will see based on this law is, now this is important, you need to understand the language, right, in which the examiner is going to confuse you. What will be said is, a ray of light is falling on a surface. There is a ray of light which is falling on a surface, making an angle of 40 degrees. What will be angle of reflection? Now looking at it, it seems to be very easy, but it is not. The main crux in this particular question is this particular line. Try to understand, bache. There is a surface, a ray of light is falling incident on a surface, making an angle of 40 degrees with the surface. Got it? Now your answer must have been changed. Now if this particular angle is 40 degrees, we are not given this to be the angle of incidence. How we are going to find out the angle of incidence? This was the point of incidence. Then in that case, after drawing a normal, we will find the angle of incidence. If it was a normal, the whole of it was 90 degree. Out of these 90 degree, if this particular portion is 40, therefore this particular part, that is the angle of incidence, which we are more concerned, is 50 degrees. And if the angle of incidence is 50 degrees, then of course when this ray of light will bounce back or reflect, the angle of reflection will also be 50 degrees. This is a hot question. Fine. So you actually need to see what exactly the examiner is asking in the question. Clear? Fine. So this was about our laws of reflection.